everyone and welcome to our channel. Today I'll be reading A Kyojuro X Reader by Dude and Duchess on Tumblr. So let's get into it. Kyojuro, I think it's time that we talked. The flame Hashira's heart began to race in his chest as he entered the immaculately clean living room of his and his wife's home. Everything was in its usual place, which was why his gaze immediately gravitated towards the stack of neatly packed trunks and personal items, which were tucked against one corner of the room. Are we going somewhere? Kyojuro asked in his usual jovial tone, but it was evident in his eyes that he knew what was transpiring between him and Wyan. They weren't going somewhere. She was. Just her. Not them. There was no them anymore. And you could see it. And if you were to be completely honest, it felt like a backhanded slap to his face. However, Wyan didn't answer him. Instead, she merely sat down on the table, then gestured to the empty space across from her. Sit down. Her actions were making the Hashira nervous, as she acted so calm and indifferent, while he was a right mess inside. He had known that getting involved with someone else when he had a wife was wrong, but he loved the thrill of it, the secrecy it entailed. That, and he had figured that he'd lost his love for his wife long ago, because his heart didn't pound like it used to, and they were recently married, and his soul didn't make him want to scream at the top of his lungs with how happy he was. The spark between them was gone, so he had moved on to another, and as if to prolong his discomfort, Mayan quietly set about to making tea. Her motions were exact and unfaltering, as Kyojuro stewed in his own emotions of guilt. And once his cup was done, she set it down in front of him with so much grace and poise that it made him sweat. She seemed so unfazed that it was scaring him. What he didn't know was that Mayan was only calm because she had already cried out all the tears she needed to shed. The sole emotion that was burning inside her was hatred. Hatred and anger, all towards her husband, and hatred towards the hussy who had accepted him and stolen him away from her. She wanted to rage and destroy their home, just to spite him, but she knew that she would achieve nothing in doing so. Lion knew that to get even with him, she needed to hit him where it hurt most, and to hit him where it mattered. She had to give him something that he'd always wanted, and take it away from his hands completely. Not only for her peace of mind, but to also avoid raising their unborn child with a father who might lose interest in them, just like how Kyojuro had lost interest in her. When were you going to tell me? She asked softly, before taking a sip of her own tea. It was perfect, much unlike the situation she was in. Kyojuro feigned innocence, which grated even more on her nerves. Tell you what? That you were having an affair. What else? That brought pause to the Hashira's breaths. His eyes widened a fraction of an inch as his mouth opened and closed, as if he was a fish out of water. But no matter how hard he tried to search his brain for an answer, nothing came to him. Speechless? I was too, when I first found out. Wine spat vehemently. She couldn't help it. Her anger was leaking into her words, just as tears of frustration pricked her eyes. Did you have fun? Was she that good in bed? Tell me, Kyojuro. Answer me. She screamed the last part at him, and even brought her right hand down on the table between them, which knocked their teacups aside, causing the tea to spill all over the wooden surface. For all her bravado, Mayan couldn't help but break down into another crying fit. She tried to stop herself from doing so as not to seem weak in front of her husband, who had all but drawn her away. But her tears had poured forth and kept falling from her eyes at a rapid pace. It seemed to her that she was not done crying over the man in front of her. She was not done shedding tears over all the hurt and pain that he had dealt to her heart. Mayan, I'm sorry. Kyojuro managed to whisper through his own feelings of guilt. It just happened. It doesn't just happen. I'm not an idiot, Kyojuro. The young woman shouted as she slapped the Hashira's hand away from her own. You should have just told me that you didn't want me anymore. Maybe then. Maybe then it wouldn't have hurt this much. Sounds reigned between the couple until Mayan continued. Because despite all of these things you've done, I still love you. And that did it for Kyojuro. It was the proverbial nail to the coffin that he needed to make him realize just exactly what he was losing. He had traded his perfect life for a temporary bliss, and he was a damn idiot for doing so. And he realized it then and there. That, while he thought he lost his love for Mayan, it appeared that he never did. Because if he didn't, then his heart wouldn't feel like it was being torn out of his chest. He wouldn't even be fighting the urge to break down in tears if he didn't love her at all. It was only when he was on the verge of losing her, losing everything that he knew. His heart didn't race like it used to, and his soul didn't make him want to scream like before, because somewhere along the way, they had found solace in Wyatt's love. She calmed the raging emotions inside him, and that was the one thing that he was not used to feeling. Yet, he had wasted all of that in one fell swoop. Wyan, please. I love you. No, you don't get to do this. Her voice was frantic as she scrambled up to her feet and hurried towards her things in the corner. She didn't even know how she was going to get all of her things out of there, but she knew she had to do it soon before she gave in and took him back. Lo and behold, she was not wrong, because she immediately felt her husband's arms wrapped tightly around her from behind. Please, please, Wyan, I can change. Don't leave me. We can be the way we were. Just please. No. All this time. She choked on a sob but pushed to continue. I stayed because I knew that it was best for you. And now I'm going to do what's best for me. And for our baby.